Hello and welcome along to another episode of this Snooker 19 career, the other O'Sullivan with me, Daniel. It's episode 32 and today we're back for the semi-final of the Snooker World Championship. We've been in to finish this series in glory and we've really come into form in recent weeks. So if you have missed any of the action, then please do go back and catch up with the series so far. We've played all the way through the season with one title earlier in the year and we almost sacrificed a few events earlier in the season just to try and gear up for this grand finale. It seems to have worked as our safety play's been far better and we've also made some frame winning breaks in recent games, something that we can be particularly proud of. But of course today we're facing a former world champion in Stuart Bingham, the second former world snooker champion we faced in this run, Sean Murphy being the other a couple of rounds ago, and of course as you probably know we got through in that one. So today we're in the last four and just one game from a dream finale. Imagine going out the world champion. It could be the perfect end to the series, and there's also £200,000 up for grabs today, so we could go flying up the rankings if we win it. We're already part way through the match, and as usual we're back for the conclusion, so we'll go and get straight into it and show you where the game is at the moment. It's been a really good encounter so far, and certainly a very entertaining one. So let's go and get back into the match. You can see we lead 4-2 against Stuart Bingham, and again are on course to get through to the next round, and this one of course is the grand finale, and it is going to be a memorable occasion. We've got to win one of the next frames to do so we'll be back in a moment for the break-off. While we're breaking in the 7th frame with our first chance to win it, I also want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's checked out my FM20 plans videos. We also announced the club will be managing in our one season beta save, so if you have missed either of those then please do go back and check them out. There's also a vote in one of the videos so you can help shape some of the content on the channel next year. I'm really looking forward to the release of FM20, so I hope you'll come and join me for the content too. Stuart Bingham's played a really thin cut safety shot there, but I think he's left us a half chance to the bottom corner. I think we should be able to pot it. The question with these long pots is normally the same thing though. Are we going to be able to get on a colour? That's always the trickiest bit for us, and the last thing we want to do is not get enough on it. So 21% power we're going for. We've got to make sure we pot the ball first, and if we can hold for the black that'd be great, but in the end it looks like we've come too far. Maybe we'll be able to cut it into the middle actually. If not, I'm just seeing if we've got an angle on the green. We have, so we can make sure we pot a colour still. The black's going to be too thin a cut, so we are going to come up for the ball colours. The green's going to be the one we go for. I think it's the most likely pot anyway, and we will try and get back down the table afterwards, something that's easier said than done. So 50% power, the green just comes off the jaws. There's only one red spare at the moment, but we're about to cannon into the pack, but thankfully we didn't do it with too much power, and in the end I think we've got everything safe. It's touching ball though, so it could be a good safety for Stuart Bingham as he comes up the table and knocks the pink safe. He's come back up behind the yellow, and although he's not managed to get the snooker, there's certainly no chance for us to pot anything here. This is what we spent all that time practicing for in the last couple of tournaments, getting into safety exchanges we didn't really need to, just to gear up for this World Championships, and again we've played a brilliant safety there, got a really good cue ball and all of the reds are bunched nicely, so Stuart Bingham again forced into a defensive shot. So let's see if he manages to pull his off. Straight down the table, again it's a thin cut. And this is the world class level of snooker we've had all game. Frame winning breaks, brilliant snookers which have taken multiple attempts to get out of. It's been a thrilling game on both sides of the table, and you couldn't have had a much better opponent for it. I'm just trying to see if we can get to the potting angle of this red. It's a risky one, but I think we might be able to drop it in. But equally, we don't want to give a chance away here, as Stuart Bingham's finished his 2 frames in 1 chance. So we are just going to play safe as a result, I think. We can't get right to the outside edge, can we? We can get to the outside of this red. So we're just going to play our normal safety shot, almost identical to the one we played last time. We've overhit this though. I'm in a little bit of bother here. We need some help from the brown or yellow. I think we might just hit the yellow. We don't, we go running past. But I think all the reds are safe again, though Stuart Bingham's got the upper hand here. Stuart Bingham's played the thin safety shot, and again he's got a good contact and cue ball. We've gone and overhit it slightly again, so we're in a little bit of trouble for the second time. Again all the reds are safe, but we're giving Stuart Bingham the chance to get the upper hand. Hopefully this safety battle will come to a conclusion soon, but we've just got to hope it's Stuart Bingham that makes a mistake. He's hit the ball back up the cushion this time, and he's potted the cue ball as well, and when we put this back on the baulk line, we should be able to pot this loose red to the middle. Could be a chance for us to start our break, and fingers crossed it'll allow us to get closer to victory. Okay, so the plan here is we're just going to drop this red into the middle pocket, hopefully get a good angle on blue or pink, and then we'll be able to come and disturb the pack, or at least create a decent angle to one of the reds. So let's just make sure this one drops in. It does pretty perfectly. We've not got a good angle on the pink here, so we might have to go down for the green, which is loitering in the bottom half of the table, and at least we'll be able to get on a red and get the green back on its spot. The problem becomes there still isn't a loose red to pot to the corner. We've really got to find a way to cannon into these, and I think we might have to go for the blue, you know. The hardest pot of the three colours, but it should allow us to go into the pack. So we're going to go as powerful as we can, just try and surge through everything here, and if we put a little bit of backspin on it, we should be able to go right through them. So we'll need a little bit of luck here. Let's just see where they go. They've split beautifully, but we need one or two over the pocket. We may have one option to the middle, but I think we've got a little bit unlucky here. In fact, we are right next to a red that can go to the bottom corner, but getting on a colour from that could be difficult. We're stuck in this little triangle of reds, and we're going to have to do a very good job to get out. So we're just going to hit this very gently actually, about 10% power. I'm quite worried we can't get to the potting angle of the black, so I might have to try and screw back a little, and a little more power could enable us to do so. So 20% power, the red goes in, and we've got a good enough angle to come up for another colour. I'm afraid again it's going to have to be a low value colour, but it should mean that we keep our break on, and no matter where the ball finishes on the bottom half of the table, we should have at least one or two reds to go for. So the cue ball's coming back down towards the blue spot, and there are one or two loose reds, so although it's not the perfect positioning again, we're certainly going to be able to continue our break. 58% power then. Let's try and get on that pink to the middle. The red goes right in the heart of the pocket, and this time I think we've got a slightly better angle on the pink, which should allow us to get on one or two reds. It's no better actually, it's almost an identical angle, but with those two or three reds loose on the right side of the table, it should allow us to get to the potting angle. So 15% power, we've actually overhit it slightly, but we're comfortably on the red. We've got at least 4 or 5 to choose from. So we'll drop this red in as quickly as possible, try and get up for the pink if we can. That would be the ideal outcome here to ensure we can continue our break. So we're just going to try and nudge past this green. Could lead to a disaster, of course. The red goes in, and we just nudged the green, but we've gone past it. And we've got a perfect angle on the pink now, as we can really get this break going. Barring a disaster, we should win the frame from here. The pink's going to be dropped in, and we'll be on the next red to the bottom left corner. There we go, decent angle on the red then. One of 2 or 3 to choose from. Let's try and nudge back up for the pink. The green and the blue are safeties if we need them. And of course there's still the yellow to the top corner. But we've got a decent angle on this pink again, and we should be able to build this break pretty quickly. The one thing I want to guard against is complacency. It could all go wrong if we get arrogant, but of course we've got plenty of opportunities to win this one, so hopefully we won't be able to throw it away. I'm trying to find an angle where we don't collide with reds. 42% power should do the trick. We've just nudged one which could cause an issue, and I think we may have screwed our positional shot there. I'm not sure we've got anything we can get on from here actually. We might have made a right hash of this, and arrogance could have come a little bit early. There is this one red which we could try and glide towards the top corner pocket, but it's a very difficult pot at this stage. But I think we're going to have to go for it, and if we can put the cue ball in the top half of the table, we'll be able to get on yellow or brown, and we won't have too many troubles if we pot it. If we don't, it should only leave one red on, and fingers crossed that'll give us half a chance. So let's go for it. I'm just trying to get the angle as close to right as I think. I'm not quite sure how to judge it here, but 30% power we go. This could be the biggest moment of the frame. Oh, we took that extra touch at the end and it went too far, and we've left that red onto the top corner now, and Stuart Bingham's got a chance to nick it. We'll let him pot this red and make sure it goes in, and now we'll give him a chance to build his break and be back at the table if we get another chance. Well, we've got a lifeline. Stuart Bingham only had 16, and now he's led us back at the table. We're just trying to drop one of these reds in, really. It's covering the pocket for the other 4, so it is the one we have to go for. And although we're not going to get a good position on a colour, puts us 1 point closer to victory. The red drops in, and that's the important bit, and we've actually come back up to get a decent angle on the pink. Though the cue ball is pretty tight to the cushion, so it is going to be hard to get any sort of spin on it. We normally want to stun through, but that's going to be very difficult. These reds aren't really loose at all, so we've got to try and aim for that one just to the left at the bottom of the 3, and hopefully we'll be able to get an angle on that, which will then allow us to try and pot it to the bottom right. So fingers crossed we can nail this. 17% power, the pink's in, which is the first thing. Now can we get to the potting angle of that red, which in turn will allow us to get on the black? I don't think we can, you know. We've made a right hash of this, have we? No, we can just about get to it. The day is saved and we should be able to get back up for the black. We've just got to get the power spot on again, something which is particularly difficult. After that we should be able to get on a black, or a red afterwards, sorry, but I think we've underhit this and that's going to make things difficult. The pink will still be able to pot to the middle, but getting on a red's going to be more tricky. We lost concentration, and as soon as I know I'd hit it badly, you saw the commentary went as well. I can just tell when it's going to go wrong, and unfortunately that was definitely a moment. I don't know if we can get through to pot any of these reds to the bottom corner, so we might have to stun through here, but how on earth do we get a good angle on one of these? I really don't know what to do at this moment. Maybe we just come at a decent angle and play a safety shot, otherwise I think we're pretty much out of options. So let's just make sure the pink goes in. It's more points on the scoreboard most importantly, and then we'll work out what safety we're going to play, or if we're just going to play a containing shot. Now the problem here, I don't know if this red pots. With 33 points ahead, there's only 51 remaining on the table. If we'd stayed a bit lower actually, we would have been on that red just above the black, so that's quite frustrating. But here, how do we play a safety that doesn't leave a red on? I really don't know what to do, and it's the most panicked I've been in some time. So we're going to try and take all the screw off the ball, just try and get down on that bottom cushion. Hopefully the 3 reds will then get in each other's way, but we've got to try and avoid the black, and that seems to be the hardest part at the moment. So I'm not quite sure how we're going to achieve that, or do we play safe the other way, off the outside of the red and try and come up the table, but we risk nudging that other red towards the bottom corner, something I'm not particularly keen on doing. So we are going to have to play safe. I'm just going to take the containing shot. Fingers crossed we don't leave anything on, and if we do then I'll just have to accept the punishment. It's a 7% power, we've overhit it, which isn't a good start. We've nudged the black, but we have got away with that perfectly, and we've actually ended up snookering Stuart Bingham on all 3 reds, and he's going to have to play off the cushion to get out of it. An easy one to escape, but he's left at least 2 of the reds on, and that should win us the frame, the stroke of luck we desperately needed. We've set up the red that's right over the corner then. Essentially 2 reds and 1 colour needed. So 15% power we were going to go for, just to try and get up for the black. If we can add as many points as possible it will help, but again we've underhit it slightly. I don't know why it's gone so wrong for us in this frame. Been a brilliant match, but we've not been at our best in this one, and we're very lucky that we already had a 4-2 lead, otherwise there could have been a world of trouble. So we're going to be able to pot this black with a thin cut, but now I've got to find an angle to get on the red, something which should have been far easier than it is. So we'll try and take some of the power off, drop it to around 30%. The black should drop into the bottom corner, and we've just come high enough to get on that right red. So let's just try and go through with this one. About 30% power does the trick, and fingers crossed the black drops in. That is the most important part. It does, and it looks like we're on our way to the final. Just this red needed, and then it's snookers required. So let's just make sure we drop it in. 41 ahead with 43 remaining. We're going to hit it as gently as possible, and if we don't get a great angle on the black, so be it. The red, is it going in? It is. We are through to the final. Barring an absolute disaster at this point, we've just got to make sure we pot this black, and then I doubt it'll even come back to the table. So we're just going to try and screw back up the table, leave a decent angle on it. Are we going to be able to get on the red? Probably not if we're being honest, but I don't want to snooker ourselves on the pink. That's the most important thing for me here. So the black's going to be potted, 28% power, and are we going to be able to get to the red? We are. We come past the blue spot, and we should be able to play a decent safety. Well, we're just going to play safe really. If we can play the red towards the bottom corner pocket, even if it doesn't go in, it makes the snooker difficult. 30% power, so hopefully we can't pot the cue ball. Fingers crossed it will just drop in to make it easier. It does, right into the middle of the pocket. And now we can go and pot the pink, and we know he's not coming back to the table at this point, so we can enjoy our moment and relax a little. So let's just try and speed it up and play at our fluent best. The pink goes in and we'll get a decent angle on the yellow. Fingers crossed we can then go and clear up the table. 45% power, cue ball's just judged perfectly so it doesn't go into the middle pocket, and we're straight on the yellow to make it for the green. All of the colours now on their spot. So fingers crossed we can't ruin it from here, but of course we could get things wrong potentially. 50% power on the yellow, just under hit very slightly, and that's going to put a spanner in the works. The green is now a bit of a thinner cut, and getting on the brown's going to be more difficult. So I told you we could still get it wrong, relaxed a little bit too much potentially, but 24% power should put the green in. It's just whether we come too far for the brown. The cue ball actually goes past the brown spot, and it's almost a perfect angle for the blue, but we should be able to pot it from here, particularly now we're competing amongst the world's elite. So let's just make sure the brown goes in as well. There's no real hindrance if we miss it now. There's certainly not going to be any chance of Stuart Bingham coming back. We're about 60 or 70 points clear, and this one we've overhit drastically too. The brown's in, but the blue's still on for the top corner pocket, but again we're making this clearance very difficult, and it shows we haven't got the perfect cue ball control yet. So the blue's going to be hit towards the top right. We're going to try and hold for the pink spot, just to make sure we can pop this afterwards, but if the blue goes in it'll be a miracle. It looks like the miracle has come though. The blue drops in, and we've got a good angle on the pink despite being tight to the cushion, but the natural angle should take us through for the black, and it's going to be a 50 break to finish. The pink drops in and the black's on, and that is going to be a half-century break, the umpteenth one of the match, and it will wrap up a victory for us. What a brilliant performance it's been. So we can start to celebrate getting through to the final and find out who we're going to face in the last episode of the series. The black's in, what a victory. 5-2 against the former champion Stuart Bingham. Not a great animation with an almost empty crowd. You very rarely see that in the World Championship semi-finals. The highest break was 93. We made that earlier in the match, and again we got around 2/3 of the points, deserving to go through entirely. So we'll be back in a moment to find out who we've got in the final, and then plan what we're going to do to show it. Well, could you have found a more fitting ending to the series? We're playing the world #1 Ronnie O'Sullivan. We wanted to emulate our namesake at the start of this series and make it to the World Snooker Championship final and win. And to get through and do that, we've got to beat the champion. So we'll be back for that one next week. We may well just show an extended episode. I did initially think about splitting it over 2 weeks, but rather than keeping the suspense going, it will probably just be an episode of around 30 minutes. So that one will show a couple of frames at various points of the match, and fingers crossed it will end in victory for us, but it'll be the toughest test of the series so far. We've been punished on the odd occasion we have gone for aggressive shots, particularly when trying long pots, and Stuart Bingham wrapped up frames on his own, so I'm sure Ronnie O'Sullivan will be capable of the same. $500,000 up for grabs, which could shoot us right towards the top of the world rankings, and what a glorious finish to the series it would be, although we've achieved so much just to get to the final. But if you did enjoy this episode and that brilliant performance against Stuart Bingham, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you think of the final draw. Of course it was going to happen, wasn't it? It was destiny from the start of the series. So fingers crossed you'll come and join me for it. Let me know if you think we can get over the line. But of course it is a fitting end to this series, and fingers crossed it'll be a dramatic game, whether we end up on the winning or losing side. Subscribe to the channel for that final Snooker 19 episode, of course, which will be on the channel at 4:30 next Friday. And then we've also got daily FM20 content starting in around 2 weeks' time. The beta's due for release around that point, so probably in 2 Fridays' time actually, we'll be replacing this series with FM20 content. We'll have our beta save 2 days a week, and our long-term One Club story the other 5 days, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled on the channel to find out the details of those series. The club announcement for the beta save was last Saturday on the channel, so do go back and catch up with that one if you haven't seen it yet. And then tomorrow at 4:30, keep your eyes peeled for another announcement. This time the club will be managing in the One Club story. In the meantime, while we wait for that though, we are in the last season of our FM19 series. That's another one club story, this time with Torquay United. We're trying to create a legacy and win as much as possible, so fingers crossed we'll be able to do that in the end of the last season. And then we've also got 2 episodes a week from our Cricket 19 career. That's every Tuesday and Saturday at midday. A massive thank you to everyone who continues to support that series. We're really starting to make a bit of progress this year, so do come and join me to see how we're getting on, and fingers crossed you continue to enjoy the content. But a massive thanks for watching this one and your support with the series as always. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you'll come and join me next time for the grand finale of this series as we play with world number 1 Ronnie O'Sullivan on namesake in the World Snooker Championship final.